Hi class, Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Dr. Sikandar Ali. I am assistant professor with the Department of IT, University of Haripur. I am teaching you software construction and development. Today we are going to take Java Lab 7, which is an online class due to pandemic. So today we are going to discuss polymorphism. Polymorphism means one form and many implementation. Every language have their own implementation of polymorphism. And C++, same like Java, we have two main types of polymorphism like compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. In C++, compile time polymorphism is implemented by function overloading and operator overloading, while runtime polymorphism is implemented through virtual function. Same like C++ in Java, there are also two types of polymorphism. These are compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. The types of polymorphism are same in both C++ and Java, but the implementation is different. We can implement compile time polymorphism through method overloading, while we can implement runtime polymorphism through method overriding. The type of polymorphism which we implement through method overloading will be called static or static binding, or the type of polymorphism which we implement through method overriding will be called dynamic polymorphism. Static polymorphism decided at compile time, while dynamic polymorphism is decided which method will be called until runtime. Now we come to discuss method overloading in Java. If a class has multiple methods having same name but different in parameters, it is also known as method overloading. If method overloading can be implemented in the same class, so if we have a single class, we still able to implement method overloading. If we have to perform only one operation having same name of the method, increase the readability of the program. What is the main benefits of method overloading? So the answer is it increase the readability of the program. If we perform addition of two numbers, so we have a function with two arguments or two parameters. Here a is a method. They have two parameters, both of integer type, and if we keep the name different, the same function, the same functionality like doing addition, but we keep the method name different, so it will decrease readability. In order to increase the readability, we keep the name of the method similar, but we keep the type of parameter the number of parameter different. So if we have same name of a method but different type or different number of parameters, then we say the method is overloaded. So we perform method overloading to figure out the program quickly and to increase the readability of the program. Let's see some example, but first we have to discuss advantages of overloading. So as we discussed in the previous slide, the topmost advantage of the overloading is to increase the readability of the program. Different ways to overload the method are like we can overload the method in Java using two ways. So the first way is by changing the number of arguments. We can change the number of arguments. keeping the same name of the method but changing the number of arguments. Our second option is that we can change the data type of the method. So there are two methods to implement method overloading: through changing number of arguments or through changing the data type of parameters. It should be noted that in Java, method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method only. So let's see the first example of method overloading through changing the number of arguments. For example, we have a class with the name adder, and we have one method with the name add, and the method have two integer type arguments or parameter, and it return the addition of the two number. Suppose we have another method with the same name, so it means we are overloading the method. But here we have two options: either we have to change the type of the parameters or the number of parameters. So here we changing the number of parameters, keeping the name of the method same, but the number of parameters is different. The type of parameter is also same. So the second method also doing the function of addition, but here they are adding three numbers. Now we have another class test overloading 1, and this class have the main method. So if we want to save this program, we will keep the name test overloading 1, and that we are going to call the method, the overloaded method, through object of the main class. So the name of the main class is adder, and then here add is here through adder we are going to call the method, and we provided here only two parameters, so it will match here with this, and it will return the sum of the two numbers. And second time we are calling the same method but having three parameters, so it will match with the second implementation of the overloaded method add. So it will call the second implementation, and it will return the addition of the three numbers. In this example, we are creating static methods so that we don't need to create instance for calling methods. Since the method is static, so we don't need to create instance of it. We can directly call the static method. So the output is the first they add the two integer number, and the second case they added the three integer number. Let's see another example in which we are implementing method overloading through changing data type of argument. Here we want to keep the number of arguments same, but we are changing the data type of the arguments. So again we have a class adder, and here we have method add with two arguments, and the type of arguments both are integer, and they returning the addition of two numbers. Another method, the type the same, we keep the same name, so it means we are overloading the method add, but here the number of arguments are again 2, but here we are changing the type of argument, and this method returning the addition of two double floating point number. In the first method implementation, we return the addition of two integer numbers, while the second implementation will return the addition of two floating point numbers. So again we have a class test overloading 2, and this class containing the main method. So here we are directly calling the method with two integer arguments. So this will call the first implementation of the method, the overloaded method add. and second time we are calling the method with two floating point numbers. So this will call the second implementation of the method add, and here again we are not creating any instance of the class add because we keep the method static, so we don't need to create instance of the class. So the output, the first output by passing the two integer arguments, and the second output is the result of the addition of two floating point numbers. As we stated at the start of the lecture, that method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method only. So here we are going to discuss this question, why it is not possible. So the answer is that in Java, method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method only because of ambiguity. So the answer is because of ambiguity. Let's see how ambiguity may occur. We have a class adder and we have method add with two integer arguments. Again we have another method. We keep the return type different, but we keep the number of arguments similar. And we have another class test overloading which containing the main method, and here we are calling. So now the name is similar and both of the type and the number of arguments are similar, so the compiler become confused here which method to call. So it creates ambiguity, and the output it results in compile time error and give the message that method add is already defined in class adder, because it is already defined in class adder. So they will be unable to call the method if they have the same number of arguments and same type of arguments. So either we have to change the type of arguments or the number of arguments, then we can implement method overloading. So method overloading is not possible if we change the return type of the method only. Why it's not possible? So the answer is because of ambiguity. Can we overload Java main method? So here we have another question regarding overloading the main method. So can we overload the main method? So the answer is yes. We can overload the main method. You can have any number of main method in a class by method overloading. But JVM calls main method which receives string array as arguments only. You can have multiple implementation of the main method, but the Java virtual machine will call only that method which receives string arguments or string as arguments, string array as arguments only, which can receive string array as arguments only. Okay, so we have example. We have a class test overloading 4, and we have public static void main, the first method which have the string array as a arguments. We have another main method which have string arguments but not array as an argument, and we have another method which not taking any arguments. So as we discuss in this bullet, that JVM will call only the method which receive the string array as an argument. So we will receive the output main with string and the array symbol. So they will call the first implementation of the method. So if someone asks you a question, can we overload Java main method? So the answer is yes. But which main method will be called by JVM? The method which receive the string array as an argument. Method overloading and type promotion. So what's the relation of method overloading and type promotion? One type is promoted to another implicitly if no matching data type is found. If we not have matching data type, so the Java compiler automatically promote the lower type to the higher type. Let's see the example. The byte will be implicitly or automatically promoted to short, and the short can be automatically promoted to end. And end can be the character can also be promoted to end. So in short, character short byte will be automatically promoted to end, and end can be automatically promoted to float or double or long. A long can be promoted to float, and float can be promoted to, and long can be promoted to double also. So double is the highest data type, they take more memory. So if we have a small data type, then it can be promoted to the higher data type implicitly without using typecasting. The compiler will automatically cast the type. So this phenomena is called type promotion. And method overloading, if we have a situation, then compiler can handle through a type promotion if we didn't find any matching type. But if we have matching type, then type promotion will not work. Let's see the example of method overloading with type promotion. Here we have a class overloading calculation 1, and we have one method with the name sum, and sum have two two parameter, one of type integer and one of type long, and they are adding the two parameter. We have another, we have the same method, but here we are overloading the method, and the second implementation of the method having three parameter. One, the all the three parameter are of integer type, and they are returning the addition of the three integer number. We have another method which is main method, and here we are creating object of overloading calculation 1 class. So through this object we are calling object.sum, and here we have two arguments, both of integer type, but here we have the first implementation is of type integer, so it's okay, they will take it directly, but the second parameter is of type long, so they will be promoted to the integer value 20 will be promoted to long, and then we will receive the addition of the two integer number. The second implementation didn't need any type promotion, so we will receive 20 plus 20 40, but the second 20 is promoted to long. Here we have another example. In this case we are overloading the method, and here we are using the type promotion, but in this case what will happen if the matching is found? So we have another class with the name overloading class calculation 2. We have one method sum with two integer type parameters, and we are printing a message and argument method enoch, arg method enoch. We have another implementation of the sum method, but here we are changing the type of the arguments. The number of arguments is same, and we are showing the message long argument method enoch. We have one main method, and we are creating the object obj, and to obj we are calling the sum method. So here 20 and 20 both are of integer, but in this case since the matching implementation is found, so they will not doing type promotion, and they will call the method which have exact match. So they will invoke int argument method. They will show the message of the first implementation. So this example explain if we find if we have the matching implementation, then there is no need for type promotion, and the method which have the exact match the parameter which have the exact match with some implementation of the method will be called automatically. We have another example of method overloading with type promotion which having ambiguity. So we have calculation 3. Here we have some method with one with a long. The first parameter is integer and the second is long, and we are showing some message through this method. We have the second implementation, and here the first one is long and the second one is int, and they are showing a message for b method enok. We are creating the object in main method and we are calling again. So in this case they will create ambiguity because the one argument of each implementation is directly matched with the other need a type promotion. So here they create ambiguity. Both can be promoted and can be matched. So again, after type promotion, they still creating ambiguity. So they will result, this program will result in compile time error. So if the type promotion cannot resolve ambiguity, so they will result in compile time. So after this level we have finished the topic method overloading, and now we want to discuss method overriding in Java. If subclass or child class has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as method overriding in Java. Method overloading we are implementing in the same class, but method overriding must have a parent-child scenarios. We must have one class is a parent and we must have one class is a child, and the same method we are implementing, which the method which is implemented in the parent class we are implementing in the child class. So there must be some condition for method overriding, like there must be inheritance if we are doing method overriding. In other words, if a subclass provides the specific implementation of the method that has been declared by one of its parent class, it is known as method overriding. If we have some implementation of some method in parent class and we are implementing the method again in the child class, then we say the method is overridden in the child class. Usage of Java method overriding. Method overriding is used to provide the specific implementation of a method which is already provided by its superclass. Method overriding is used for runtime polymorphism. The decision which method should be called will differ until runtime. So compile time we cannot decide which method will be called. There are three rules if we want to implement Java method overriding. The first rule is that method must have the same name as in the parent class. If we want to override a method in the child class, so we will keep the name of the method same with the name of the method in the parent class. Method must have the same parameter as in the parent class. And the second option is that they must have the same parameter, and the third rule is that there must be as a relationship, means there must be inheritance. So there are three rules if we want to implement method overriding. The first rule is that the name of the method in the parent and child class will be same. The number of parameters in the parent and child class will be same. And the third is that we can implement method overriding if there is inheritance. So there must be as a relationship if we want to override the method. Understanding the problem without method overriding. Why we are using method overriding? So this example will explain why we need method overriding. Here we have vehicle as a parent class, and they have one method run, and the run method showing message vehicle is running. So we have a subclass which is extended from the main class vehicle. We have a subclass bike which is extended from the vehicle class, and here we have one method, main method, and we have one object new bike, and we are calling the run method through the object of the subclass. So it will show the message vehicle is running. But now if we want to show another message like bike is running, so we need to implement the run method again. So if we keep the name of the method and they have the same functionality, and we keep the name of the method different, so it will decrease readability, and we want to increase the readability of the program, so we will implement the same method and the subclass also. So this example show the situation where we need to override the method again in the subclass. The red color writing, I already explained why we need method overriding. If we not override the implementation of the method in the subclass, then we will only be able to call the method for the message or for the implementation given in the parent class. Here in this example we are overriding the run method. So we have a vehicle class and they are showing vehicle is running, and we have a subclass bike2 which is extended from the vehicle class, and they have the implementation of the run method, and here they are showing the message bike is running safely. So we have main method and we are creating one object with the name obj, and through object we are calling the method. So if we obj we call the method run, so they will call the implementation of the subclass. So we will get a message bike is running safely. And if we want to run the method of the parent class, then we already know that we have to use the super. If we use the super keyword super dot run, so we will also receive the message vehicle is running. Okay, a real world example. Consider an example of a bank in which each and every type of bank have different rate of interest. So for example, we have some banks which have the interest rate is 8%, 7%, and 9%. So this is the class diagram. We have one class with the name bank, and we have get rate of interest method, and the type of the method is float, and we want to extend the implementation. We want to extend the bank class through each and every type of bank like HBL, ABL, and UBL, and every bank must have a different type of interest